Hello, friends. Thanks for taking a moment to listen to our brief introduction on our Lent series this year. So we spent the last month and a half getting to know Jesus through looking at the four Gospels, Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John. And you might have noticed that when we talked about Jesus as good news, it often was good news that involved something called the kingdom of God. So the Greek word that's used in the New Testament for the word kingdom is basileia. That's what the word is when Jesus says, my basileia of God. And it was a radically relational metaphor that Jesus used over and over again to describe living in a world by God's design. Now, you've heard it called the kingdom of God probably your whole life of faith. But the thing about translating basileia as kingdom, scholar Catherine Keller reminds us, is that basileia really has nothing to do with historical kingships or the ideas of historical kingships or empire or dictatorship or any kind of top-down power structure. In fact, it pushes against that often in Jesus's descriptions. So it's just not the best metaphor for what the gospel writers are trying to communicate in their stories about Jesus's teachings on the basileia of God. So our Lent series on the kingdom of God, we're going to actually switch over to using the words Commonwealth of God. This metaphor was introduced by John Cobb, and he says that the best English translation for basileia is the term Commonwealth because it does not emphasize this controlling power of a ruler as kind of the organizing point of the community. But Commonwealth rather suggests that the realm of God may be organized for the common good. So we're going to use the word Commonwealth in this vein because it resists this idea of a human superpower, a king, which is really not implied in the original term basileia. Instead, kingdom or Commonwealth of God implies, Catherine Keller tells us, kind of a world or a place or an existence where God's will is done, where God's purposes are fulfilled in our communities and in our life together. And then they're foreshadowing God's community until we begin to actually actualize it here and now in our own communities. So, another fun word that I occasionally use, and you've probably seen it in writings or heard it in sermons for kingdom of God, is the kingdom of God. And again, it's this dethroning of the idea that there's a hierarchy in the community, or that even the hierarchy is the most important part of the community, when Jesus's descriptions often emphasize its communal nature instead. So we're going to practice new vocabulary for the next 6 weeks as we explore the Commonwealth of God and what it looks like and how we can participate in it. And we are going onward in this journey together.